Welcome to The Explainer. We love to take big, complex ideas and break them down into something clear and focused. And today, we're tackling a big one, Jordan Peterson's Beyond Order. We're going to look at some of its core rules for navigating, well, the beautiful mess that is a meaningful life.
All right, let's just jump right in with an idea that's really at the heart of the whole book. It's a quote from Carl Jung, and it kind of sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about. The gist is this: the stuff you really need for your own growth, it's almost always hidden in the places you're most afraid to look.
So, to really get what he's talking about, you first have to understand these two fundamental realities that Peterson says we all live in, and they are order and chaos. Think of your reality as being split into these two big domains. Okay, so on one side, you've got order. That's your map, right? It's the world you know, the rules you follow. It's what gives you security and keeps you sane. But then, on the other side, you have chaos. And that's, well, it's everything else. It's the unexplored territory, and it's where you find both terrifying, paralyzing stuff and amazing new possibilities.
And here's the kicker. Our entire lives are basically spent walking this tightrope between the two, We're constantly trying to find that sweet spot, that perfect balance between the stability we absolutely need from order and the potential for real growth that, honestly, only chaos can give us.
Okay, so finding that balance is absolutely crucial. But what happens when the very thing you rely on for stability, that order you've built for yourself, starts to feel less like a home and more like a prison? That's the moment when you realize your map of the world, well, it's got some big blank spots. You know that feeling, right? When the old solutions just don't solve today's problems anymore. Now, Peterson argues this isn't a failure. Not at all. He sees it as a call to adventure, a necessary push that forces you to face the unknown.
And you have to face it, because staying where it's safe forever, it's just not a real option. See, an order that never changes, one that never lets in a little bit of chaos to shake things up, it eventually becomes rigid, stagnant, and in the end, it becomes destructive in its own way.
Okay, so we get it. We have to step into that scary, unknown territory to find what we need. But the big question is, how? How do you actually do that?
The answer lies in adopting what's called the archetype of the fool. And look, this doesn't mean being an idiot or acting silly. Not at all. In this sense, the fool is the humble beginner. It's the person who's willing to say, you know what, I don't know. They accept their own ignorance so they can actually learn something new. And their greatest strength? It's being willing to start all over again, right at the bottom.
Peterson shares this really great story about a young server who completely turned his life around just by embracing this idea. Instead of hating his job and being all cynical about it, he just accepted it. He accepted the structure and started doing his job, but doing it properly. And once he let go of his pride, something amazing happened. He started seeing opportunities everywhere, and that simple shift in his mindset, it opened doors he never even knew were there.
So, embracing the unknown. A big part of that is about confronting the dragons in your life. You know what I'm talking about. Those big, scary, difficult things that you've been actively avoiding.
And a lot of the time, that first dragon is lurking right in your own past. Think about it for a second. If you have an old memory that still stings, that still gets a big emotional reaction out of you, what is that really telling you? What it means is that your mind hasn't finished processing that experience. It's like an error in the code, an anomaly on your map. So the way to face this dragon, is to confront it head on, not just by thinking about it, but by writing it all down, carefully and completely.
And look, the point here isn't just to vent or get it off your chest. When you actually write it down, the process forces you to build a real understanding of what happened, why it happened, and most importantly, how you can update that internal map of yours so you're better prepared to handle similar situations in the future. Okay, but confronting chaos isn't just an internal job, right? It's also about your physical world, and there's a really powerful way to do this. It's about bringing order and beauty into your own personal space. The rules sound simple, but it's incredibly profound in practice. Just try to make one room in your home as beautiful as you possibly can.
And we're not just talking about picking out nice curtains here. This is a deep, meaningful act. When you create a space that is ordered, habitable, and beautiful, you are actively pushing back against the chaos of the world. You're building a sanctuary. It's a powerful reminder that we need more than just the basics to truly live.
So when you put this all together, confronting chaos, embracing being a beginner, taking responsibility, you start to see that this whole journey isn't really about finding happiness.
At least not that simple, fleeting kind of happiness. It's about discovering something much deeper, something more robust and lasting.
And this is a really important distinction to make. Chasing whatever makes you happy in the moment, well, that's actually a pretty terrible guide for life. Why? Because it totally ignores the needs of your future self. The you that has to exist tomorrow and next week and 10 years from now.
So what's the alternative? Well, this is really the core idea of the book. The deepest, most reliable source of positive feeling in your life, it doesn't come from chasing pleasure. It comes from aiming at something higher, something better, and then voluntarily taking on the responsibility to make it happen. It's that classic difference, right? Are you just laying bricks, or are you building a cathedral?
And that really leaves us with one final, and I think pretty powerful question to ask yourself. You know that feeling of disappointment you might have? Maybe with the world, maybe with yourself. What if that feeling isn't a reason to be resentful? What if it's actually a signpost? A big, glowing arrow pointing directly to a place in your life where responsibility has been dropped. Because according to Peterson, that's exactly where you'll find it. The opportunity, the meaning, and the real adventure of your life just waiting for you.